Hi and welcome to this Blueberry Markets video update with me, John Kibler, head currency analyst. In this video we're going to take a look at crude oil, have a little look at the market, and the reasons why we're basically looking at is a potential retracement to form, or at least some downside to the oil market, because price has broken some key lows. Now the key low is broken for me is this monthly low. Now you can see here market has been in an uptrend since sort of 2020. We kind of bounced from these lows, started to make higher lows and higher highs, and then the market recently is driven up towards these sort of 126 numbers, 130s. We've then started to see a bit of a pullback in that market. So monthly, last month closed as a bearish candlestick. Now what this is basically showing us is that we could be moving into a retracement phase in the market back to previous areas of support. Now what I've actually marked out is last year's high. So the last year's high is at 85.20. Now I don't normally go out to sort of these monthly time frames, but I just wanted to give you the bigger picture perspective in a market, because if a market is going in an uptrend and then it starts to pull back to a potential area of support, let's say, we can often see trends develop within that area, okay, which could offer you opportunities to pull back into key areas of structure. One way just to prove that to you is if I take this impulsive leg here with this yellow line and I was to go to a daily time frame and just zoom out, you can see that within that area price makes higher highs and higher lows. Obviously a big rally up into that area there, but continues to make those higher lows. Okay, now typically when a monthly then goes into a downward trend, we would see a retracement phase on an uptrend. We would see a daily downtrend form, and that's what we're starting to see now. Prices pushed to the downside, had a little pullback here, broke through some key lows, and is now making another move to the downside. So what is it basically doing? Well, we've had this kind of slow grind higher after this kind of downward impulsive move. So what that shows us is that buyers stepped in at this area, okay? And it stepped in again at this point. Now, these points are around about here, which is at 92.20, which is where I'm expecting price to head towards now, okay? Because this is where buyers have stepped into the market in the past. Now, we could see some short-term buying from this level. We could see price come all the way back up into the 106s for a move to the downside. That is absolutely possible, and that's exactly what I'll be looking for on the price of oil over the next coming week or so. The reason being is because I don't want to be shorting oil prices here. I want to be shorting where those sellers have come in the first place, where that selling pressure has entered the market. Now, price may not pull back to this point. And if it doesn't, then I won't be looking necessarily up here for a position. However, you know, if price maybe forms a lower high, then we could look for the double top and things like that. So just because it might not pull back to this area doesn't mean that we can't be looking for an opportunity around this point, because you can clearly see price action really started to turn down through this point. Now, target area, like I said before, last year's high. You know, we've broken out of that last year high. Price may want to test it before continuing to the upside, or if we just go back to that monthly and zoom in, if we are going to see that real downside pressure, could we see a continuation maybe back down towards this area in here? You can see this price down through here acted as support around about that $66 area on numerous occasions, and then price rallied to the upside. So if we are going to start to see downside pressure, we could see the market drive a little bit lower. I don't particularly think we're going to see that particular move there, but we could still see a pullback into these key areas at $92 or $85 as well. So looking at the 4 hour, if you want to just dial it in a little bit with a little bit more detail, where did that selling pressure really start from? Well, it started from here. You can see around about 107.80, 107.90 is where we've really started to see some aggressive selling coming into the market. Now, often when price does have an aggressive move, we can see a retracement. Price can pull back into key areas of structure. And just to prove that again, we had a downside impulse in here. Price pulled back into an area where there was lots of price action going on, downward impulse, okay. Prices then come all the way back up towards that area where that selling pressure really took a hold of. Price came back down. Again, we've pulled back into some areas of support and resistance, and price has dropped lower. So what this is telling me is that I want to be looking for those key areas for price to come into. Now, for me, like I said, if we can pull back into that 108, that would be a good area to start looking for opportunities, because that is where that selling pressure has come from previously. So keep an eye on oil around this level. If price drops to the downside before we get to that point, we may start seeing a bounce at this area down through here. So you could also look for the counter trend move. Thanks for watching this video update. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the YouTube channel to see some more Forex trading content. And I shall speak to you in the next video.